back to Wuthering Waves lore. So, what is a threnodian? To understand what a threnodian is, we first have to understand what a threnody is. So a threnody is a sad song or a poem, especially remembering someone who has died or some people who have died. Right. So what is a threnodian then? A threnodian is something, it's a being or even a hive mind that performs threnodies. And whenever these threnodies are performed, tacet discords emerge from tacet fields. So we know that there are many tacet fields all over the map. In tacet itself means it is silent, or also known as a rest in music. So usually they are silent until the threnodian starts performing threnodies. And then these abominations emerge from tacet fields and start attacking. So that's when all the grief, all the pain starts taking physical form and become a threat to all the people of Jinzhou. Okay, now on to the next thing. We saw in Act 6, after defeating Kratos for a second time, that the camera shifted its focus on something else, and I will show you what I mean. It shifts its focus on this thing here. It looks like a ball. No, not a ball. It's a sphere. It's a sphere. This sphere with a star in the center. And we saw Dreamless emerging from it. So I suspect that Crownless also emerged from it. But that's another story. But the other thing that I've noticed is it reminds me a bit of the Abyss. Like this sphere seems to be maybe a part of another world. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but it could be a part of something else. Like it could be that it doesn't. It could be the case that it doesn't belong to this planet at all. Like it just is from somewhere else, and it somehow managed to force itself into this planet, into Jinzhou. I don't know. I have to think much more about this, because theory crafting is not easy. It takes a lot of time to get to connect the dots and understand what's going on. So, okay. So this thing here is the threnodian itself. It's most likely that this thing is the threnodian, actually. Like, it's a hive mind that collects data, that absorbs all the negativity, all the pain, all the suffering, all the sadness, and then releases it. So maybe it's a way of punishing, maybe it's also a way of punishing the people of Jinzhou. I don't know. But it seems to be a hive mind, because Crowless and Dreamless must have emerged from it too. So it's something that is... Right now, I cannot really explain everything. I don't know enough about this. And I wish there were more world quests in regard to this thing, in regard to this sphere with a star at the center. Because it would be very interesting to know more about it, you know. Anyways, we will find out eventually. But there's one thing that kind of pisses me off. You remember at the beginning of the game when we get to know Qixia and Yang Yang? we get to meet Crowley's. It felt shitty that this Crowley's got killed off so quickly. Like, we know the hologram version of Crowley's, and this thing is a freaking beast. Yeah. Freaking aggressive, a freaking beast, especially difficulty 6. But at the start of the game, this thing was just killed off and it was just turned into a joke. Let's be honest, it was just turned into a joke, and I've already been commenting everywhere else on how cheap it felt because Kuro Games was like, max out the MC glazing instead of keeping these interactions and make them as impactful as possible. But this was a joke. Like, we faced this thing and absorbed it. Like, it was nothing. Like, it didn't even feel like a real threat. So that's what happens when you decide to glaze the main character too much and do not want to show what a threat these things can really pose. Yeah, but that's another story. Anyways, I will go back and try to connect more dots and see how far I can get. Because theory crafting is very interesting, but it takes a lot of time. So yeah.